Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another TW9 video. We're just over 2 weeks away from Full Gear, and yeah, we now have a Death Rider stable minus Wheeler Utah, so his breakdown continues. But looking forward to this one. As I say, it should be a good week, and the card is pretty much nailed on. There's one or two other things I need to add in, but as I say, Full Gear looks really good. And then I need to really start thinking about who's going to be in the Continental Classic groups. I have a rough idea of like 2 people that are definitely going to be in it. I think I might even just maybe have 4 people for each one pretty much confirmed before Full Gear, and then I'll just see who would make good matches and then see where a feud goes through there. So sit back, relax and enjoy this week as we start off with Dynamite and the Edition Financial Arena. And those lovely people are greeted to a opening contest between Darby Allin and Brody King. And in this one, it was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and had Darby Allin defeat Brody King in 14:28 with the most devastating move in sports entertainment, the fast roll-up. I felt that was a good way to kind of protect Brody. The match was designed so that both wrestlers could go out and try and steal the show. Darby had an 85 to Brody's 63, both of them had pretty good chemistry together. The wrestling was a 74, and this segment was a 76. So despite them having good chemistry, it does seem like the styles clash a little bit, with only getting a 63 for Brody, but a good one for Darby Allin. So Darby starts the show with a fantastic overcoming the odds victory over Brody King, and then he has a small stare down with Malachi Black, and he grabs the mic as Malachi walks up the ramp. See this? This is just like Kenny Omega. Malachi Black is another one who doesn't respect me, so let's do it. I took down your big monster this week, how about I take you down next week? And then Malachi just glares back at Darby Allin. So Darby's just not liking a lot of people. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and we're setting up here for next week, Darby Allin versus Malachi Black on Dynamite. So 63 for that one. Storyline advances. Decent stuff. Tag champs were in action next as they took on Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange, and it was a decent matchup that saw Ua and Ricochet defeat Parker and Manav in 8:09 when Ricochet pinned Parker with the Benadrylla. Ricochet carried the matchup with his 86 performance. Ua was really off his game, which is a shame. Wrestling was a 65. This segment, a 70. Then a little backstage segment with the Bang Bang Gang. And it's just Jay White saying, lads, so come on then. Who's going to own up for that utter mess on Collision? That plan was foolproof and you guys decided to make the biggest arse up of it that you could and took out JD Drake instead of Walter. Now come on, we're not a meme, a joke. Step it up, lads. We are here to be taken seriously and to be dangerous. Don't make King Switch have to show up on Collision and take him out myself. So a 67 for that one. Obviously, that little comedy angle we had on Collision followed up here, and the storyline advances. Next up, it was about that had some decent wrestling, not a lot of heat. I had Megan Bayne defeat Misa Ruga in 9:29 by pinfall. Actually, quite surprised with this one. It really did quite well. 71 for wrestling there in a 70 segment, obviously less than 10 minutes. Me with a very good 69, Megan Bayne with a 73. So these two styles actually clicked, which was a bit of a surprise. But more momentum for Megan Bayne. She has been downed. Misa Ruga has been downed. Can anyone stand up and stop Megan Bayne? 59. Next up, terrible matchup. I had Mark Briscoe defeat Mims, who turned up as wanting an opportunity, so he jobbed out. In 2:29 with the Froggy Ball. Storytelling matchup. A simple squash match to give Mark Briscoe some positive momentum. A 47 overall. Briscoe with just a 58. Briscoe's then getting ready to continue on the beating, but it's Will Ospreay who comes in, makes the save, and he chases Mark Briscoe down. Briscoe is now in the top of the ramp while Will Ospreay grabs the mic. And he says, Briscoe, I'm tired of this new shtick from you, and the fact that you seem to blame all of this on me. So never mind this. Let's wait to Full Gear that everyone else seems to be doing around here. Let's wait till next week and I'll face you one-on-one. The only new shtick I want from you is for you to bring it to another level, bruv. And he says, you know what, Ospreay? You're on. I'm going to take it to a level that you've never experienced before. just look back at the wars myself and my brother Jay did and ask yourself, is that something that you really want to be a part of? Because Will Ospreay, I'm going to hurt you and I'm going to put you in the hospital. So their storyline advances. Loses Heat is 73, and we will see also Mark Briscoe versus Will Ospreay next week on Dynamite. Next up, Wild Brawl, Eddie Kingston with the win over the Butcher in 9:34 with a blackout lariat. A 73 for this one, just again giving Eddie positive momentum going forward. Heathen in ring performance in 82, the Butcher a 54. Eddie then says, 18 days Mox. It frustrates me that is so far away, but you enjoy your little match up tonight with Claudio because this Death Rider shit is coming to an end. You got rid of Utah, Pax bailed, it's you, Claudio and Marina, and let's be honest, Claudio might not even make it to Full Gear. So good luck, tonight I'll be watching and I'll have a little think just how we can maybe make those stakes a little bit higher at Full Gear. So the segment is an 85 and the war storyline between those two advances. Then we have some words from the AEW Women's World Champion, Mercedes Moné. She says, "So now for a little time to digest the news. This agenda that AEW management has for me. I'm the biggest star in this division, this company, and I'm the one who has to hold the crown. But it seems like they're doing everything they can to give others that, especially Willow. Well, unlucky losers, because at Full Gear, not Becky, not Willow, will win my championship, because alongside me, I've got my bestie, just wax on there, my best friend Bailey, and she'll do the right thing and let me remain the AEW Women's World Champion because I am money." So a 76 segment there, Mercedes' frustration at that fatal 4-way. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It should be a banger. Co-main event time. A decent matchup that saw Mariah May defeat Mayu Iwatani in 13:53 with reverse bulldog. This matchup was designed to steal the show. I felt like, obviously, Aroha had a good matchup with Mariah, and working with like talents like Mayu as well is only going to improve her. A 72 for the wrestling, 74 segment. Mayu getting 80, which is really good. Mariah May in this one with a 64. So pretty good stuff there. And we'll now hear from the Glamour. So look at that, another glamorous victory for me, Mariah May. Now for a few weeks ago, I said I needed gold around my waist and it's time for me to say what's next. In truth, it's fairly obvious. I'm not in the Women's World title matchup, that's been decided. So it's time for me to revisit my past, someone I know very well and someone I've beaten before for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm, it's always you. It seems like we are destined to do this forever, but there won't be a forever, as this time when I take that championship away from you, I'm going to lead you down a spiral that you'll never recover from. So yeah, set up for that one. Storyline advances, gains heat. Mariah's getting stale, which is a bit of a shocker. And the segment was at 71. Main event time now. And it was about that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. And it saw the Death Riders, the team of John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, defeat the team of Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis in 21-12 when Mox submitted Davis with the Bulldog choke. 86 for wrestling, fantastic stuff there. 81 segment overall. So you can see there Davis win 88, Fletcher 91, Castagnoli and Moxley 83s. The storyline that Davis and Fletcher involved in has advanced against gained heat, and they lost a little bit of points through the lack of psychology, so you probably could look about an 84. Both teams with excellent and great chemistry, so that's good to see. We didn't actually know that Moxley and Claudio were that good together, but yeah, pretty positive stuff regardless. So we finish our show with 16 regions gaining popularity and overall rating of 80. While they say that more storylines weren't furthered, I think they were just not in matchups because we've got a lot of stuff set up there for not just obviously Full Gear in a few weeks, but next week, because we already confirmed we're going to see Briscoe versus Ospreay and Darby Allin versus Malachi Black. We'll jump and see if there is any locker room incidents before our B shows. That's fine, we'll now jump to Collision. So it's the Mitchell Law Ultra Arena for Collision, and we start off with the Young Bucks in action against Ricky Starks and Wardlow. A bit of revenge for last week. Decent matchup though, the Young Bucks defeat Ricky Starks and Wardlow in 14-13 when Matthew Jackson pinned Ricky Starks with a moonsault. 72 for the wrestling, a 76 segment. So the storyline advances, it lost a bit of heat, quite worrying one of the weaker matches for the Young Bucks. You can see there an 82 for Nicholas, a 76 for Matthew, 63 Wardlow, and a 66 for Ricky Starks. We hear from MJF. Yeah, well done. You guys got lucky that you beat my guys. English was hard there. You're just like Hangman and at Full Gear. Me, Starks, and Wardlow will take care of you schmucks. We're the backbone of this company that you built, and that pains you guys. Which we just hear Matthew Jackson saying, oh, yeah, okay, Max, this is exactly why we backed up Hanger. We're sick and tired of this supposed backbone crap. It's time to take back our company. So, A-rated segment there, a bit more heat between the Bucks and MJF's stable. Then a little segment backstage, we have Mercedes Moné talking to Bayley and the rest of the Moné Corporation. She says, good luck again tonight, Bayley, against Aroha. Show the world how good you are and why you're one of the key members of the Moné Corporation and one reason why I will still be the AEW Women's World Champion. Bayley looks a bit perplexed and she doesn't have the most reassuring nod back to Mercedes. So a 60. Mercedes was fantastic. Nixon and Sky underperformed, but hopefully these segments help them develop. We had a extremely short match next. Megan Bayne defeated Ryo Mizunami in 5:18 by submission. Storytelling matchup. So just a 56 here. Megan Bayne has a broken rib injury from an indie date, but we kind of played into that with her maybe struggling across the line here. Another Japanese wrestler has been decimated by Megan Bayne, and even with broken taped up ribs, she still gets the job done and she's not finished there. She continues the beatdown of Ryo Mizunami, but here comes some backup, and it's Io Shirai, and she's taking the fight to Megan Bayne, who's given her injuries, wants nothing to do with Io, and she bails over the barricade. So that is probably a matchup that's going to take place at the pay-per-view. 68 rated segment. Yeah, we feud between Megan Bayne and Io Shirai. Next up, we had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Bayley defeated Takuma Aroha in 11:50 with a Rose Plant. A 73 for the wrestling. A 76 segment overall. And yeah, pretty good stuff there. 71 played a 74 in performance. And that is with Aroha being off her game. So overall, some pretty solid stuff there and gives Bayley good momentum going into Full Gear. Next up, a little backstage segment between AJ and Nick Wayne. Last week you were unlucky in the main event against Swerve Strickland, but tonight I'm going to show you, AJ, I'm going to show the world that the main event is where I belong. And AJ says, just be careful, not just because you're facing Konosuke Takeshita, but because of the Don Callis family. So Takeshita, Nick Wayne main event, 67 rated segment, their storyline loses heat. We then have a little backstage segment and we see that Wheeler Yuta's coming out of a room. Scoops Alex Marvez, catches him and he says, Yuta, what's going on? What's next for you after the Death Riders? Yuta just doesn't answer him. He just smirks. And then he moves on. The performance of Marvez was good, which is interesting. I don't use Marvez a lot. And this segment was a 45. Next matchup was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Adam Cole defeats Mike Bailey in 12-12 with a boom. This was the Steal the Show matchup, and probably the first time in a couple of saves I've actually gotten a tune out of Adam Cole and a performance into the 70s. Them having pretty good chemistry lifting the match probably helps, maybe a similar type of styles as well. But 74 for the wrestling and a 78 segment overall. We then hear from Kevin Steen, and he says, so a few weeks ago that stupid Orange Cassidy and his stupid face and his stupid jacket tried to mock me after Nick Wayne turned into like the luckiest kid ever and flicked a victory over me. Now, if there's one thing I don't like, it's being mocked. So Orange Cassidy, if you're such a brave man, why don't you come out here and mock me to my face? OC then decides to walk to the ring. Steen says, so Big Shot, here you are. Mock me. Nothing happens. And he says, exactly, you're nothing but a coward. OC then raises his thumb up, which enrages Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen then goes to punch him. OC ducks, and he nails Kevin Steen with the orange punch, which rocks him to the outside, leaving him furious. So, just getting a bit more between that kind of feud. I don't know if I'll make it like an actual storyline thing here, because it is only the last of the pay-per-view, but this segment was 83. pretty encouraging stuff. Wild Brawl that had superb wrestling and a good reaction from the crowd. Walter defeating Gabe Kidd in 13:55 with a lariat. So this one's obviously capped because of the time, so it would have been higher than an 80. But really solid stuff here. A 93 for Walter and a 77 for Gabe Kidd. Walter's picked up a difficult win over Gabe Kidd, and like a pack of dogs, the Guns and Juice Robinson rush to the ring, and it's a 3-on-1 beatdown. Walter doesn't stand a chance given the matchup he's just had, and of course here comes Switchblade Jay White. Gets on the mic and he says, "Walter, I told you I was coming here to get you, and when the moment was right, the Switchblade slashes you. 2 weeks and that championship is coming with King Switch." They lift him up and Jay White nails him with the Blade Runner. So their storyline advances. Jay White looked good. The segment was a 60. 15 days. 15 days and I will challenge Kazuchika Okada for the AEW World Championship. It's time to get to work. We then see a 3-minute montage of Bryan Danielson training for the matchup, doing some of his hiking, some weightlifting, and some of his grappling in the gym. So just a small wee package here, because not too much heat between a World Championship. Storyline advances. This segment was a 75. And your main event was great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Takeshita defeats Nick Wayne in 20:45 of the touchdown due to a botched interference from AJ Styles. So AJ tried to help Nick Wayne, but did not prevail. Takeshita can carry matches like this. Great psychology now, obviously. Fantastic talent. Helps the AJ storyline gain a bit of heat. And yeah, absolutely delighted with that one. I think we might do quite high with that score. 82. That's quite fine. That's probably where we need to be now in terms of not losing pop. A lot of greens there, so quite happy that one. And yeah, we would have probably grown a few places if we were broadcast more places around the world. Locker room incidents. Ooh, Bryan Danielson and Takuma Roha had a blazing argument. But that is it for now. We'll jump back with a look at our B shows in the week in wrestling. So we're greeted with the news that Bruce Pritchard is likely to sign a contract extension with the WWE. Our Collision broadcast. Majority of people liked it. That's good to see. Anything else there that directly affects us? Not that I can see there. Our news items obviously letting us know about Bruce Pritchard. Collision getting 1.3 million viewers. 2.8 for Shockwave. Io Shirai says that Nixon Nil has got charisma. She's got a lot of upside. And Walter says that Sky Blue doesn't connect with the crowd. It'll take time. So we quick roundup of our 2B shows then. For Rampage, Shelton Benjamin picked up the win over Rocky Romero in a 57. We then had some words from the Hurt Syndicate minus Powerhouse Hobbs, which was a 66. The team of Chris Statlander and Priscilla Kelly defeated Thunder Rosa and Arisa Nakajima, which was a 63. Small Sammy Guevara promo 49. Pac over Kushida was a 72 before some words from Pac was a 64. And the main event of Speedball Mike Bailey defeating Matt Taven in a 62. So overall, a 63. Thought it was okay. Shockwave, we saw the Beast Mortos defeat Colt Cabana in a 47. We had some words between Ricky Starks and Wardlow, which actually got heat into their storyline with a 68. Nixon Newell over Billy Starks was a 62. I obviously really want to push Billy, but I feel like Nixon probably needs momentum because she's more on our main roster. But hopefully it helps both of their development. That's why you'll see a lot of wrestlers, younger ones, on these shows just to try and get them matches and help develop their technical and physical attributes as well. And about their character, because Anna Jay had a 66 angle before she lost to Queen Aminata in a 61. Some words from Adam Cole was a 75. We had Johnny Gargano, remember him, Bandido and Lee Moriarty defeat the Righteous alongside former member Tyler Bateman. He wanted to show up and wanted it used, so that was a good opportunity to do so. In a 66, he took the fall. Max Caster turned on Anthony Bowens, that was a 76 for his promo. He then lost to Commander in a 61. Anthony Bowens' verbals back at Max Caster was a 70 before the Guns defeated Top Flight in the main event in a 73. So pretty solid stuff there. As I say, it's all about the development. They'll hopefully do us a ton of good in the future. So we are exactly 2 weeks away from Full Gear. So 2 more weeks of full weeks of AEW, and an episode after that will be Full Gear, and then Of course, we're on to the Continental Classic. Unsure what I'm going to do regarding the Continental Classic. Do I look at, more in a sense of, do we keep that like as a thing? And do I look at basically changing the Continental Championship to the Unified Championship? Because the International Championship is obviously a alliance title in this, so I can just kind of not use it. So I'll see how I go with that one. But if anything, that might be something that we work into in 2026. Because I do think there are two titles that are far too similar. But we'll see. So cheers for watching. Hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the build up to Full Gear. Let us know how your own saves are getting on. A wee thumbs up, but deeply appreciated. And check out the Fantasy Bookers subreddit, Grey Dog Software forums, twdb.com, and bethebooker.net. And I'll see you next time for some more TW action. Bye bye.